for the opposition for Jesse James
Got
Armstrong.
a big one.
What a show today.
Woo!
Ends up with Jesse James Armstrong against Brian Christopher. That still is yet to come, even after the 2 title matches that we have had out here, and a 6-man tag match that concluded earlier. Now it's Jesse James Armstrong and Brian Christopher.
Jesse James Armstrong said, hey, get somebody out here I can beat up. Well, I don't know if he'll be beating up on Brian Christopher for too long.
May not be the right guy that just walked through the drapes over there, Corey, if he's looking for someone to beat up. Jesse James, a tough son of a gun, well-schooled in the fundamentals of wrestling. But we're ready to go with our opening bout.
At 251 pounds out of Marietta, Georgia, Jesse James Armstrong. And his opponent, 222 pounds out of Memphis, Tennessee, too sexy, Brian Christopher. Bill Rush, referee, and this one, to top it off, Lance, a great day of USWA Championship Wrestling today, buddy.
Can't get over it. Jesse James Armstrong, Brian Christopher. They're not exactly strangers to each other. And I'll tell you one thing about both of these 2 guys in here. They never saw a guy they didn't think they could beat. Bam! And look at that shoulder. I mean, he flattened Armstrong on the mat. He took the slingshot off that rope, and Brian put a shoulder into it and just decked him as hard as he could right there on it. And Jesse James back up. This guy, because of his background, even though we've had a little difficulty with Bob Armstrong, his dad, and all of the Armstrongs of recent, we'll tell you, be the first one to say it. Great wrestling family, and they know their wrestling business. And Jesse James is no exception, standing side headlock. Brian reached up, had a hold of some of that hair of Jesse James.
Christopher all reversed into the rope. Goes under the forearm, comes back with a big shoulder from Too Sexy. Brian Christopher and Jesse James Armstrong. Oh, he's telling the referee, hey, he's pulling my hair around. Christopher runs right on top of Armstrong. Whoa! He pulled his hair that time.
Yeah, he did. He did let go of it, and that's after he came all the way over and slammed him down with that hair. Brian Armstrong on a standing side headlock.
He pulled him right up by the braids over there and pushed him to the middle of the ring. Christopher backs him up now. Into the rope goes Armstrong. Big shoulder. Jumps over Christopher. Oh, Brian
Speared him. I mean, he speared him. Brian was going to go up on a leapfrog. Jesse James sensed it, and as he came out there, he speared him. Yeah, hit him in the gut.
Jesse James Armstrong decks Christopher with a big right hand. Bags him up into the ropes. Goes Brian. Forearm from Armstrong. Jesse James Armstrong. Things looking pretty good for him right now. Christopher reverses it. Whips him in hard. Super kick from Too Sexy. Brian Christopher nailing away on Jesse James. Backs him into the rope. Clothesline takes him down. Brian Christopher fighting in his way back in this bout now. Sets Armstrong up. Bulldogs him down.
He sure did. I mean, hammered that head into the mat.
Drops the right fist down, and Brian not going for a cover. I thought maybe he could have taken advantage of that bulldog of Armstrong. Setting Armstrong up here now. Flexes him over. Now he gets the cover. 2, and Armstrong kicks out at 2. Unable to stick for the 3 count. Christopher jumps right down to the midsection. Jesse James Armstrong Tags him up into the rope. Sleeper hold
difficult hold for Brian with Armstrong because Armstrong does have a height advantage. Brian's very strong, though, and he is able to take him down to the mat, and that makes everybody the same size. Looks like Jesse, he's got a chain.
He's got something wrapped around that right fist.
That's exactly what he did. And he reached up with it and ripped Brian Christopher right smack in the eyes or right in the forehead above it. Caught him in the eyebrow, I believe. Caught him right on the socket of the eye. Kind of 1, 2. Brian puts a foot over the rope. And that is not going to be a win for Jesse James.
Just saves Christopher, though. Christopher rolls him up, Lance.
Got him.
He got him. Too sexy Brian Christopher with the win over Jesse James Armstrong. Look out. Look out, Brian. Coco Ware. Nails him over in the crowd. Coco Ware, what has got a
chain or something around his throat, it looks like.
Handcuffs,
is that what it is? Yeah.
Oh, boy. Armstrong helping out. Coco Ware's handcuffed Brian Christopher over there. Got a strap. See this? Come on.
Takes the belt off and starts peeling the hide off the back of Brian Christopher and, of course, Jesse James Armstrong. Boy, we've had a lot of this 2-on-1 stuff out here.
Here comes some help from Brian, and Armstrong stops him right in his tracks. Let's get somebody out here. Coco Ware goes in his tights, pulls out another object, and nails the other guy over there. He's got another pair of handcuffs, Lance.
2 people handcuffed to it. PG-13. JC and Wolfie D come rolling out to get Armstrong and Coco Ware out of here. Boy, what a couple of great guys. We got to take time out. We'll be back in a moment. My goodness, what an exciting show today, huh? Son of a gun, we had 2 title changes in there, a 6-man tag match, and we had a lot of mad people that were here today. Got to get out of here. Dave Brown will be back next week for Corey Macklin, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.
Last week, it was Doug Gilbert, Tommy Rich, and they were out here causing all kind of problems as we had title matches galore. Today, we have a sensational opening bout as Doug Gilbert will be facing Brian Christopher in action. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
Like I said last week, the days of Tommy Wildfire Rich and Dangerous Doug Gilbert shaking hands and kissing babies are all over. Jerry Lawler, Tex Schlesinger, PG-13, you all found out last week. Well, this week, Brian Christopher, it's time for you to pay the ultimate price.
Doug Gilbert, once a snake, always a snake. You might have had a lot of other people fooled, but not me. Today you're going to step into the ring with another snake, but this one's going to bite you first.
Ready for our opening bout today here on USWA Championship Wrestling. First introducing at a weight of 236 pounds out of Lexington, Tennessee, Dangerous Doug Gilbert. And in his corner, Scott Bowden. His opponent today making his way to the ring area now at a weight of 223 pounds out of Memphis, Tennessee, too sexy, Brian Christopher. Bill Rush is the official referee. Over to Lance and Dave, our opener today.
Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell with Dave Brown and Corey Macklin ready to go with another big USWA Championship Wrestling as we're opening up with truly one of those marquee matches with Christopher and Gilbert, and we've seen some great battles with them, Dave.
We have indeed a couple of guys who will go at each other tooth and nail, you can bet, for the entire match. That's not all we got today. We've got Tracy Smothers and Jesse James Armstrong. They'll be going against PG-13 right here today. What's Doug Gilbert doing? He's out insulting someone in the audience. About getting back in the ring. Let's get the match underway. Also returning to the USWA after an absence of some time on television here, the Spellbinder will be back. Coco Beware will be along later on, the Birdman, too. Lots of other things coming up today. You stay with us throughout as we're now underway with a great opening match. Look at this. Brian Christopher using the right fist. Doug Gilbert's head slammed into the turnbuckle. It staggers Doug. Brian with a slide out of the ring. And boom! Big right hand.
Last week, Dave, of course, PG-13 regained the tag titles. And we've got a story to tell you about PG-13 as you'll be seeing them a little bit later. They'll be going against the team of Tracy Smothers and Jesse James Armstrong. What a lineup of action, and we're already into it as Doug Gilbert pops back up in the ring, reaches out, slaps Brian Christopher, and nobody slaps Brian and gets away with it. Foot to the midsection, pounds him with a right hand. Scott Bowden having a fit on the outside.
Oh, suplex by Brian Christopher.
Hey, Phil Rush has got some money on Brian Christopher in this match. He's letting him get away with everything.
He may be getting away with a few things, but Doug Gilbert will also try to get away with a few things from time to time, too. That was Scott Bowden over here yelling in the microphone that you heard. He's over in Doug Gilbert's corner. Bulldog by Brian Christopher. Down to the mat goes Doug Gilbert. Christopher so far pretty well controlling the action. Doug Gilbert dragged out to the middle of the ring by Brian. Brian putting the heat on that left leg.
Whoa! Caught down with the elbow on the inner thigh. Brings it back after he grapevine that leg and then pounded it down. Christopher and Gilbert, as always, they really go at each other and has been one of the great feuds the USWA has ever seen. Pow! And look at that Gilbert swing that right hand. Tommy Rich came back, Dave, and son of a gun, the attitudes just changed overnight.
Oh, I know it. He and Gilbert together really been causing problems in recent days in the USWA. Dangerous Doug favoring that left leg. Looking for sympathy from the crowd, not finding any. Brian back on his feet. Doug backs him to the ropes. Reversal by Brian Christopher. But Doug Gilbert, hammers him down to the mat.
There's a cover, 1, 2, and a foot on the rope. Christopher legitimately had the foot up on the rope, and that was the one that stopped the count right there at 2. Gilbert now, leg over the head, and look at Bowden grabs him from the outside. Brian Christopher undergoing some real pounding from Gilbert. Got him outside the ring down on the floor while Bowden distracts the referee. This gives Gilbert an opportunity to put Brian into that ring post. Opening match on what will prove to be a sensational program today. And again, Brian Christopher hammered right at that ring post. Get him back in, Bill. Christopher rolled in, and Gilbert follows right in behind him. And Gilbert scoring solidly on Christopher. Staggers him over to the rope.
Christopher whipped across the way, but comes up with the foot. And that slows down Doug Gilbert. Early in the match, it had been all Brian Christopher. Then Doug Gilbert sort of took over. It was a nice move by Brian. Sort of left Gilbert hanging in midair. Back in the turnbuckle. The whip across the way. Brian Christopher sets with a foot. He comes up with a kick behind the head. Doug thought he had him blocked, but he didn't.
It's kind of like stepping in a stirrup and swinging your leg up over a horse, and Brian wheeled around. Over the top and hits referee Bill Rush flush.
Doug ducked out of the way, and it was right into the referee. Doug Gilbert, you can see that chain. I mean, he's not even attempting to hide it. The referee's down, rolling on the mat. Doug Gilbert with a chain wrapped around the right hand. Scott Bowden up on the apron. Doug has just tossed the chain now out to Scott Bowden. Bowden celebrating the imminent victory. But the referee is out of the ring, down on the floor. You're not a referee. You're not ringing the bell.
Scott Bowden jumps in and counts 1, 2, 3 after he ripped him.
Here's T.D. Steele. T.D. Steele is a referee. Is he? All right, well, Randy Hales has sent T.D. Steele in since Bill Rush was knocked out. T.D. looks like it's going to be the referee in the ring, and yeah, it should have been the disqualification right there, if you ask me, with Bowden dancing around in the ring.
Brian caught Gilbert with that, he dropped down with that flying leg drop. Here he comes, 1, 2, and Bowden, that's got to be a disqualification.
Got to be.
There. He nails T.D. Steele right in the middle of the back from the outside, and Gilbert hammers Christopher from behind. Bowden off with a shoe, nails Gilbert down. He goes. Christopher puts the super kick on Bowden. Here comes Armstrong and Smothers going after Christopher. T.D. Steele face down in the ring where he was the substitute referee after Bill Rush got knocked down. And now Bill Rush looking from across the ring. I think he indicated ring the bell, but I'm not sure. Pile driver. Christopher caught in a pile driver from Doug Gilbert. And with the help of Armstrong, Smothers, Bowden, here comes Wolfie into the ring along with the spell.
Jordan of what's going to happen next.
As we still do not know exactly what, Dave. I think we'll have to call it a disqualification or a stop match, one of the two.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it would almost have to be a disqualification. 2 referees hit. My goodness, one of them was accidental, but then there was no doubt that Bowden just went after T.D. Steele. That should be a disqualification and a fine right there for Mr. Bowden.
We'll take time out. Be back. We've got PG-13 Smothers and Armstrong coming up.
All right. Boy, I tell you what, off to a wild start here today with Brian Christopher against Doug Gilbert and a disqualification on Gilbert.
As we said a little bit earlier, last week, Dave, PG-13 got their titles back. They were defending against the Rock and Roll Express down at the Coliseum on last week's Monday night show. And then what happened is PG-13 came out to the ring. They got jumped, and Jamie got his leg hurt. It ended up with Brian Christopher substituting for Jamie in there. They retained the USWA tag titles. Let's take a look at some of that action coming back from the Coliseum.
Whoopie D and Ricky Morton out on the floor fighting it out. Christopher back chips it up into the ropes. Ooh. Whoa, boy, comes from behind with that big kick. Christopher climbing the rope. Here comes Coco Ware. And Coco shoves Christopher down. And
11-11. Coco comes in. Oh, no. Puts that bird buster on Brian Christopher. Here's JC Ice. JC with that leg all banded up in there. Here comes Tommy Rich and Doc Gilbert. They enter the ring. Oh, boy. And Rich working over that leg immediately. The first thing he goes for. Now, I'm trying to hurt the guy. That kind of stuff is absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you. Tommy Rich immediately going for the injury to try to hurt JC Ice. Pounding away with that chair. Doc Gilbert just nailed referee Frank Morales. Frank is down. Whoopi in the middle of the ring. Doc Gilbert drops down. Come on, Doc. These guys, let me tell you. Rich Gilbert, Coco Air, Paul driving Christopher out on the floor. Come on. Working over the leg of JC Ice. Here comes the King and Tex Lazinger in. Jared. Okay, we are ready for tag team action here on USWA Championship Wrestling. First introducing, led to the ring by their manager, Scott Bowden, coming in at a combined weight of 493 pounds. Unhailing from Springfield, Tennessee, Tracy Smothers, and his partner out of Marietta, Georgia, Jesse James Armstrong. And now, here's a word from their opponents.
You know, man, JC Ice's leg is hurt. The doctors have told me, the nurses have told me, the promoters told me, even JC Ice's own mama said, don't wrestle, man, it could ruin your career. But JC Ice is not a quitter, and I'm going to wrestle today. And Rich and Gilbert, I'm looking for you as soon as I get done with Jesse James and Tracy Smothers.
They're coming in at a combined weight of 399 pounds. From the hood, JC Ice, Whoopi D, PG-13. On their way to the ring, Bill Rush is referee. Over to Lance Russell and Dave Brown.
Okay, Corey. And the beat goes on. I want to tell you, PG-13, Armstrong and Smothers. That's what we've got in today, but you can look it around. Rock and Roll Express, Gilbert and Rich. A lot of tag team action involving around the USWA Tag Champs, JC Ice and Wolfie D. Pull the belts off. This is a non-title bout. Bill Rush has the belts, and Wolfie D will be starting out. I am sure they'll be looking to use Wolfie as much as possible in that ring. Dave.
I'm sure they'll have to, because I was just watching JC Ice over in the corner, and he is not getting around very well at all on that left leg of his. So I'm sure that Wolfie and JC will try to keep JC in the corner as much as possible.
PG-13 from the hood. Where exactly is the hood, Dave? I don't know. I'm not sure where it is, but I bet it's a far cry from Germantown, isn't it?
I was going to say, I bet you don't go that way too much, huh? Tell you what, Scott Bowden.
Here's a perfect example of what we have always observed about PG-13. They are just letting that youthful enthusiasm and invincibility in their own minds carry away. JC should not be up there in that ring wrestling. He's been told by everybody but us that we just will add our 2 bits to it. And here he is, coming in here in a match because he wants to show that he is a tough son of a gun, and he is. But he also may end up with finding another line of work when that leg gets stomped on again. Jesse James Armstrong squaring off with Wolfie D as Jesse is back over talking to his partner Tracy Smothers. This is a very good tag team, Smothers and Armstrong.
Oh, they're formidable, even when the PG-13 is at full strength. They're facing a very, very difficult match. With J.C. Ice hurt, that's going to make it that much more difficult. Wolfie, he made the tag. Here comes J.C. Ice. That leg is hurting him. There's no doubt about it. He had to get right back out of there quickly. Wolfie D is not going to have much chance to rest in this match. He is going to have to spend most of the time in the ring. J.C., I think, took that tag and came in there just to prove he could get in the ring. As if to say to folks like Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert, jump me from behind if you want to, whatever, but you're not going to keep me out of the action.
Got to be not so comforting to his partner, Wolfie D, to know that he may not be able to depend on the tag when he most needs it. Jesse misses. Wolfie does not. Catches him with a clothesline. Puts Armstrong down. Whoa. All the way over the top rope. And the referee is not going to stop it because, look at this. Went with a Frankensteiner right out here on the floor as Wolfie nailed Jesse James Armstrong with that Frankensteiner and took him right down on the studio floor.
He was out of bounds. That should be a timeout.
There's no timeout. There's no out of bounds. And as far as over the top rope goes, it was momentum that carried him over. It wasn't like Wolfie picked up and threw him over. We can't give you timeout. Talk to the referee. There's no timeout.
Noise, timeout. This crowd's making too much noise.
I think this is a football game or something. There's no timeout. Get him back in the ring. He's got a 10 count. That's part of it. If he doesn't get back in there, you lose.
It was up to 8, and the referee was tolling away. Smothers got Armstrong over, rolled him under the ropes. That breaks the count, and he's back out on the floor again as he was really nailed. Wolfie came flying off the ring apron right into a Frankensteiner, which is one that can really do you in, and it did. Jesse James Armstrong. Wolfie tying it up, and look at Smothers, goes behind. Wolfie reverses it, rolls him up on the shoulders for a count of 2, and that's it. Some good action in between a lot of this rough-out stuff, Dave.
Indeed, and Smothers and Armstrong know they're in a battle here, even though it's primarily just against Wolfie D. Again, if you joined us late, J.C. Ice is at ringside. He's here to wrestle, but he has an injured left leg. And it's injured pretty badly enough that he's having a lot of trouble just walking around on it, much less getting in there and wrestling.
Wolfie's carried every bit of the action at the moment, and when you're against a team like Armstrong and Smothers, that is not good. You need the rest, but Wolfie's doing the Iron Man trick as he's staying right in there with it.
Smothers round behind, hammered that left arm up, reversal by Wolfie D. Smothers took Wolfie D's legs out from under him, but Wolfie D immediately back in a hammer position with that left arm, and he retains the advantage. Can he keep it for long, though?
Wolfie D with the arm up behind. Dave, we're going to have to take a break here. The match will continue. We'll be back and join it in just a moment.
You shut up, kid.
Okay. J.C. Ice took the tag. He's been in. He was in first with Smothers. And Tracy resumed what he was trying to do, and that is grab that leg. J.C. had it hurt by Rich and Gilbert. He really shouldn't be in there wrestling today, but you're not going to tell him that or anything else. And so, PG-13, USWA Tag Champions, going against the rugged team of Tracy Smothers, Jesse James Armstrong. Here comes Doug Gilbert dashing in, and Wolfie chasing him around the ring. And out of the studio area he goes, Dave.
That gave Jesse James Armstrong and Tracy Smothers a chance to double team J.C. Ice and go after that left leg. Wolfie D in there to even it up. All 4 of them in the ring right now. Wolfie working on Tracy Smothers. Look out, Doug Gilbert now jumps in the ring. He goes after that leg of J.C. Ice. He got the knee. J.C. Ice rolling in pain on the in the middle of the ring.
Gilbert wheeled in, put the block on that leg, and took right straight on out.
The referee never saw it. He was involved otherwise.
Shut up, Dave. My Uncle Bobby Badger probably want to sign up Doug Gilbert for the Seminoles after that awesome football tackle, baby.
Yeah, maybe.
Dropping down with the elbow on that leg as J.C. Ice now has the problem.
Yep, they've got that left leg in a position now they can really work on it. Look at that. Look at Armstrong dropping down on the leg with his leg. Just adding more and more pressure. This is what everyone had feared. This is why everyone told J.C. Ice, don't go in the ring today. You shouldn't be wrestling.
Yeah, the I told you so that we all want to say to J.C. is going to help him out one bit as far as it goes. And the bad thing about it, with his leg like that, it's just going to postpone him being back to 100% a lot longer, and maybe even more serious than that, to where he could get it screwed up to where he's not going to be able to work again at all. Jesse James Armstrong with a hand on Tracy's head, putting some more weight down as Tracy with a half crab on J.C. Ice's left leg. Wolfie wants to come in so bad, and the referee is keeping an eye and keeping him out. He goes with an inside toe hold off of that crab. So Jesse James Armstrong really got in a position where he is murdering that leg. And JC has got the problem of getting away one, two, getting across the ring in order to get over to Wolfie D to make the tag. He's got to do that. We're sitting with about 4 minutes left in our time on this match. It's a time limit, one fall, 15-minute time limit match, Dave.
Well, I tell you what, if they keep J.C. Ice in there the remainder 4 minutes, J.C. is going to have a tough time getting out of this ring without a lot of help from some other folks, because they continue just to really work on that leg. Head for the corner, J.C. He is, but he's heading for the wrong one.
Yeah, he was heading to a neutral corner instead over towards Wolfie, as he is racked with pain. And in the air. Oh, down. Wow. J.C.
PG-13 don't have a leg to stand on, do they, Dave?
Yes, Scott Bowden. Great one-liner from Mr. Bowden there.
Tag. Tag goes, and in comes Tracy Smothers.
Wolfie D reaching for the tag from the corner. J.C. Ice just not able to get to the corner. Smothers and Armstrong, well, to their credit, I mean, got to give them their due.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, work on an injury.
Sure, and keep your opponent away from getting to the fresh man, the strong man in the ring. There's a count of two. The shoulders are down. Again, you got to hand that one to J.C. Ice. I think I'd have been tempted just to keep the shoulders down and take the 3 count at that point. J.C. again pulls the shoulder up at the count of 2. Time winding down here.
We're down to the 2-minute mark, and out 2 minutes to go in this time limit. As J.C. Ice, what you said, Dave, made far too much sense, because it's just instinct. When they got their shoulders down, don't let them get the 3 count. Right. You kick them up, and that's what he did. But, okay, they lose one match. They don't want to have to do it, particularly in between the type of feud that's going on with Smothers and Armstrong. J.C. popped the shoulders up, and he'd be a lot better off to go ahead and take the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think so for the future. And also thinking those belts, they have to be defended. They've got some title matches signed. Is J.C. going to be able to defend in those title matches? All sorts of ramifications here to the injury, and to J.C.'s being in there right now. This is exactly what Armstrong and Smothers wanted to see. Once they got J.C. in there, they could... Has he given it up?
60 seconds to go in the time limit.
No, he has not given it up. I thought he had. Bowden was over here yelling he's given it up, but he isn't.
Oh, yeah. Less than a minute to go. If he can make it to the time limit, it will be a draw. And I guess in his mind, he thinks it's worth it to do it. Figure 4 leg lock. Oh, man. of all. We're down to 30 seconds of wrestling time. 30 seconds to go. Referee Bill Rush, 1-2, and the shoulder comes up. JC breaking it. That's the count is what I'm talking about. He also... We are right down to the end of the time limit as JC Ice on the counter. That's it.
He gave it up.
Nope. No, he didn't time limit. It's a draw.
Wolfie with a hubcap going after Tracy Smothers. JC Ice survived it. They got the draw, and here comes Gilbert. Gilbert from behind, nailing away on Wolfie D while Bowden goes to the leg of JC Ice. And Wolfie is hammered into that top turnbuckle, and if nothing else, retroactively, I would have to disqualify. Here comes Brian Christopher. He evens things up. And he takes some pressure off of JC Ice and Wolfie D. But here comes Coco Beware. Good night. He's got a bullwhip in his hand, and he hammers down on Brian Christopher while Tracy Smothers goes with that Confederate flag and standard and beats on the leg of JC Ice.
Brian Christopher being hit with that bullwhip by Coco Beware, the flagpole hitting the leg again and again of JC Ice, that injured left leg. Meanwhile, Doug Gilbert's got Wolfie D tied up and out of the action, and Jesse James Armstrong hammers him in the top of the head with a hubcap.
While Coco continues to swing the bullwhip, that shows you the kind of volatility there is at the USWA right now. It takes very little to ignite a spark of mayhem all over anywhere these guys are gathered, because there are so many bad feelings between the participants. It was officially a draw. Gilbert on Wolfie, Coco on Brian Christopher, Smothers and Armstrong and Bowden on JC Ice.
I think we ought to take a break and come back and get this sorted out while we're away. We'll be right back.
Back on USWA Championship Wrestling, ready for action. One ball, a 10-minute time limit. First introducing now, making his first appearance in the USWA, wrestling out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. At a weight of 263 pounds, here is Red Tyler. His opponent today coming in at 272 pounds out of Fantasy Island, the Spellbinder. One ball, 10 minutes for this next single bout here on the USWA. Over to David Lane.
Been a while since we've seen the Spellbinder. He is back in here against Red Tyler. Oh yeah. Let's ring the bell. And there we go. Referee Bill Rush caught me unaware.
Sometimes the mechanism for ringing the bell will kind of hide from us. We have to kind of search for the rope to ring the bell there.
We do it the old-fashioned way with our hands
That's right.
instead of pushing a button electronically.
You got it.
Tell me, I'm trying to place. It seems to me we had Tyler here once before, but I'm not even certain of that, Dave.
I'm not sure either. I tell you what, he looks like a pretty formidable opponent, though, size-wise. He looks like he matches up pretty well against Spellbinder. Let's see how he wrestles. Spellbinder reversed back into a corner. Mr. Tyler driving the shoulder to the midsection.
Spellbinder has always been a guy that had superb physical characteristics. He fired Tyler right into that corner. I mean, turned him up, head down into the mat, facing the mat, and feet up in the air as he whipped him hard. He has great upper body. Well, he's got just great strength because his legs are also very powerful, too. He just, I don't know whether it's attitude, I don't know what it is, that he's just missed that gold ring, though, and he's back in here after Tyler catches him in the midair. Whoa, nice move. You better believe that was a good move.
Little raw power showing up there from Spellbinder as he caught Tyler in midair coming off the ropes. Now Tyler back up on his feet, holding on to his back. Spellbinder bounced him off that mat.
What a specimen this guy is. It looks to me like although his ring weight is about the same as it was, he looks like he's trimmed down just a little bit, Dave. I think he's taken a couple of pounds off. I believe he got up over 270 at one point.
He's looking pretty strong right now as he's got that left arm barred. Red Tyler finds himself on the mat. Referee Bill Rush checking to see about a possible submission. Tyler says, nope, not giving it up. But he gets out of it, goes after the Spellbinder with a forearm. Flips the knee. Spellbinder hits the mat. Gets back on his feet quickly, and Tyler is right there. Off the rope comes the Spellbinder. Clothesline by Red Tyler.
Tyler now making his best move since the beginning of the match. He's no shrinking violet either. He's physically very well developed, and he has been going after the big guy from Fantasy Island. To whip in, he misses. That spinning back kick. And Spellbinder follows it up with a ripping right hand, and referee Bill Rush saying, open him up, open him up. There's the whip. Tyler across, and the elbow puts him down. When he puts that upper arm to you, there's a lot of arm behind it.
Boy, it sure is. Tyler picked up in the air now by the Spellbinder. He's slammed right in the center of the ring. Spellbinder with a cover. 1, 2. It's over, and it's a victory, and a pretty impressive one against some big competition here. The Spellbinder gets the win.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we've still got plenty of action to go, and we're going to take time out right now. Be back in just a moment.
To the USWA right now, Patricia, and hearing words like Patricia and the Border Patrol, and we're kind of anxious to find out a little bit about you and your situation here.
First of all, Mr. Announcer Guy, have you ever seen such a glorious sight like me in your life? I think you have. See, I'm here for 2 reasons. My first reason is I plan to have the USWA Tag Team titles on my men, the Border Patrol. And they're coming. They're not here now, but shut your mouth, but they're coming. And the second reason, I hear about Miss Texas. She's so big, she's so bad, she fights men. Well, I'm the new woman here. I'm in charge. I come from New York. I take charge in New York, and I'll take charge down here, down south. Miss Texas, you got nothing on me. You're overrated. You're dirt, Miss Texas. You're dirt. And I'm just sick of how everybody makes this big to-do about Miss Texas.
Well, Miss Texas has proven herself time and time again in the ring. Here she is right here. Here's Miss Texas. I'm sure you heard what Patricia had to say.
You know what? I don't know who you are, and I don't care. But USWA is my territory. I wrestle men and women and beat them all. And if you stick your nose in my business, I'm going to knock it off. Because you're going to find out you don't mess with Miss Texas.
Oh, yeah, Miss Texas? Well, let me tell you something. I'm the new woman here. I don't wrestle. I don't like to get my hands dirty. All right? But I got a surprise for you, sister. Oh, yeah. An old friend of yours, Susan Sapphire. What do you think about that, Miss Texas?
Oh, I'm really scared now. I'm sticking in my boots now. I'm sticking in my boots, honey.
Here's Susan Sapphire, too.
I'm back, and I'm going to be your worst nightmare. Oh,
look out. Patricia coming out here and immediately causing trouble, insulting Miss Texas, bringing out Susan Sapphire. Here comes Bill Rush trying to get this broken up. Randy Hales, yeah. Got a 2 against 1. Miss Texas, when it's even, when it's 1 against 1, a different situation, let me tell you, than what you see right here. Let's take a break, don't you think? We'll be back in just a moment.
Hit her with that purse right in the back of the head, knocked her right down there.
To the challenge.
Scott Bowden seems to make himself attached to any place that there's difficulty and problems. He's hanging out with Gilbert and Rich, hanging out with Armstrong and Smothers. And here he comes bringing in what? Got to be the mailbag with all of your fans right here.
That's exactly right, Lance Russell. You know, Tex Slazenger has got to be the stupidest man to ever come from the state of Texas, and that includes Dusty Rhodes and the Von Erichs. Because you see, he thought that he was embarrassing me last week by pulling down my pants in front of all these idiots over here. But hey, baby, look at this. Look at my mailbag this week. I got about 1,000 marriage proposals in here, and there's one very, very special letter in here. I'm going to have to run it past the network censors before I read it, but next week, I'm going to read this letter live on television. How about that, Lance Russell? And
no,
you know,
it's not going to happen.
I want Randy Hales right out here, right now. The big boss man, the man who thinks he's the boss. Come on out here, Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest. Run, Forrest.
If he comes running out here, he ought to be running right for your throat with what you and those thugs.
I've taken $2,500 out of my trust fund, and I'm putting it on the line. I got a man that's going to teach you a lesson. We set the rules around here. We don't follow them. You understand me, punk?
Sure don't follow.
That's right, Lance. You don't follow it. Scott, you made your challenge. You threw your money out. I don't know what your problem is, but we have a television show to run today. We got matches that the people want to say. So all I'm
they
telling
want to see Scott Bowden. That's what
I'm
they
not
want
going
to
to
see.
get in an argument with you. All I'm telling you is to leave this TV studio so Lance
Oh,
can
you got to make me? You got to make me, Randy?
Don't
Randy's
push me,
getting
Scott
kind of,
Bowden.
oh, don't mess with me. Yeah, what are you going to do, buddy?
Come on.
From behind, Brandon Baxter sails in and nails Hales right in the back. Come on, you guys. Leave the chair alone.
This is easy.
Brandon Baxter just pounding on. Spellbinder comes flying out here, and that gets rid of Brandon Baxter and Scott Bowden. It's Randy. Dave, let's take a break right here. We'll check Randy out and be back in a moment.
We're ready now with our next battle in USWA Wrestling. One fall, a 10-minute time limit, 190 pounds out of Memphis, Tennessee, Ripley Prim. And his opponent today.
Out of Brian Christopher right now. You just wait. Watch me in action, baby.
Making his way to the ring area at 240 pounds. Gets this guy out of the great state of Tennessee. The Birdman, Coco Beware. Over to you guys. Let's do it.
All right, Corey. Yeah, rushed introduction here as Coco headed into the ring and went after Ripley Prim. He said it was Brian Christopher. He gets a cover and a count of 3 in just seconds. And this match is over, but he brought some handcuffs, and he's got Ripley Prim now handcuffing him up to the turnbuckles.
Putting him around the turnbuckle. Oh, now he's got the full
Oh,
way.
come on.
Come on, Bill. Gets this young kid in here and just gets him pinned inside of 10 seconds.